good evening, and welcome to QI, where tonight we're all ears and eyes. And so I say unto you, hark, behold, Phill Jupitus, David Mitchell, Jimmy Carr, and Alan Davis. So, gentlemen, let's hear your eyes. Phil goes,
Aye, sir.
oh, cabin boy. And David goes,
The eyes to the right.
oh. Jimmy goes,
Eyes left.
Alan goes,
I think you're great.
lots of eyes. Good. And don't forget to keep your ears peeled for an elephant. If you see one coming, you're looking at a bonus. That's it. Those are your elephants. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Well done. Very obedient. You can put them away now. Or maybe that was a clue to our next question. Who knows? Here it comes. What would you use one of these for?
What would I use it for, or what is it meant for?
Oh, isn't this for fish? Getting things out of fish?
Ah, interesting thought.
On the Swiss Army knife, there's one for scooping out a fish eye.
They're not as difficult to get out the eye of a fish, are they? They're pretty squidgy, unless the fish is still alive. Fish don't blink, which is the main eye defence. If you're ever trying to get the eye out of a fish and it blinks, it may be a lion.
Is this the Albanian army knife? I do two things. I poke and scoop.
Now, I like the word scoop.
Scoop.
It's scooping fish eyes out.
Not for scooping out fish eyes, but for scooping something.
Some people get loads of sleep in their eye. Great clogs. More than a finger end can manage. They need a tool.
When you get up in the morning and you...
Hey, what did you say?
I like you very much.
Earwig.
Is the right answer.
No, thanks a bunch.
You've all got...
That as well?
You've all got a red one, in fact.
Oh.
Yeah, this one too. This is a slightly more modern version. Do you know what they're called?
Earwax scoopers.
They're called ear spoons or ear curettes. Doctors call them a curette.
Can I just say, I mean, how much do these things cost?
Well, not very much, I wouldn't have thought.
Can I just say, anyone buying a Bic biro?
We have to be very careful about what we put into our ears, though, don't we? They do say if you put a tiny bit of earwax, say you've got glasses and you do that, you know, which some people with glasses do, and you would just pop it on top of a frothing pint of beer or stout, it makes the head disappear completely. Because it's oil-based, and oil will break down the surface tension of the bubbles and cause them to collapse.
Do you use that little hole? You put that in your ear?
Well, yes. Again, a doctor wouldn't recommend it. I have to... Oh, he's going to do it.
Silly not to. I can't hear anything.
The problem is not the scraping out of the ear matter, it's the disposal.
Oh, you're right.
Where does one put it?
Yes, because unlike snot, it doesn't taste nice.
Yeah? It is so very bitter, isn't it?
Yes, it is bitter. Yes. Oh, dear.
Yes, it's very much the greens of the meal that the body makes for itself.
Eat up your earwax.
Yeah.
That's what magicians do, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, very good. It's convincing from my angle, not from the audience.
It's actually gone in.
Well...
Is it true if you squirt sort of fairy liquid on, thinking of the surface tension thing, where there are lots of water boatmen hanging around, they'll all sink, won't they?
They will.
And you want to look at the expressions on their faces, because to them it's like the ground has turned to liquid, because they don't realise it's liquid to start with, the morons.
Right, what can you tell me about Q-tips?
Don't put them in your ear.
They're much better for cleaning your ear than these things.
Well, you'd think, wouldn't they? Do you know who invented them?
Mr. Q and Mr. Tip.
It was actually a man called Leo Garstensang.
So it wasn't Quincy Tippington?
Lovely thought. When he saw his wife using toothpicks with cotton wads for their baby's ear. And do you know what the original name was for them?
Baby Spears.
Baby something. Baby gays.
Baby gays?
Baby gays. G-A-Y-S.
Are they still called baby gays in other places? Because I imagine if some, a foreigner comes here on holiday, having a lovely time, but they think, I better clean my ears, put on a good show, and they walk into Boots and go, have you got any baby gays? They'll be put on some sort of register.
They would. You're right. Do you know how many of these baby gays now called Q-tips or cotton buds Unilever produces a year?
Billions.
2 trillion.
2 billion. 3 billion. 4 billion.
25.5 billion.
Billion?
A year. That's a lot. Now, how can we tell who is whose child just by looking at their ears?
That was a beautiful weekend.
Presumably, the parents of the child would be going, step away from my child, stop looking at its ears.
Well, yes, there is that.
On that day, I had to have a child's head on my body all day.
Was it exhausting?
I tell you what, I've got a cracking pair of tits.
So the Atkins is working then.
I feel really left out.
I'm sorry.
Can I be like the dog or something?
Actually, though,
breasts of
David,
Carr.
you could also be the parent of that child. And indeed, Alan and Phil could be your parents. In terms of ears, how will we know that, though? What is it about your ears that is particular? It's very odd that all four of you, have very unusual ears. Or not very unusual, but less than average.
Is it that
A
you
lobe
length.
thing?
Yeah.
It's a lobe thing. Your lobes are all attached. They don't hang.
Attach? Yeah, what, you mean they're not sort of over there somewhere?
No, they're called attached lobes.
Oh,
They
no.
go straight down. You don't have a little actual lobe.
You have a lobe.
Yeah.
You have a lobe, don't
A
you?
little flappy lobe. I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, stop it! Stop it!
It's more common to have a lobe than not to, in fact. In the audience, can you put your hands up if you've got, like me, a little flappy lobe? Freaks! There you are, you see? And could you put your hands up if you haven't, if you're like this? Yes, you see? It's a bit like eye colour. It's a dominant and recessive gene thing, so that if you both have attached lobes as a mother and father, then your child must have attached lobes too.
So if a family are watching this and they think, well, hang on, ours hasn't.
Yeah. I'm afraid it's a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Wow, this is turning into Kilroy. Well done.
Yeah.
I think the best way to tell whose kid it is by the earlobes is if they're pierced and the kid is less than 2 years old, the parents are the ones in the shell suits having a fight in a car park.
If a child has hanging lobes and both his parents have lobes attached, then something's amiss. Don't wake the children up to find out now, though. Just take a picture.
Why wake them up? They're not yours.
Exactly. Now, what's the best way to date a cod?
Ooh.
Where did you find a slutty fishmonger?
There are plenty.
All these whores of the sea can be yours.
You do them up like that, they fly out the shop. Given the choice of 2 cod, come on.
Which one?
I'll have Lady Penelope there. It must have something to do with eyes or ears. That's our theme.
You're smart.
They have no
Yeah.
ears,
It's
so...
The size of them.
Holmes?
Ears is... Right, they have an ear bone.
They have an ear bone.
They have an ear bone. But what's interesting is that you can age a cod to within a day using this method. So it's even better than trees, which, as we know, is a year. The otolith is a bone that we all have. It helps us give us a sense of which way our head
We all,
is
well,
up.
all of us cod.
No, all of us living things. In fish, including cod, it gets this calcium carbonate build-up. And if you, unfortunately, have to kill the cod first, and then you bake its otolith, and then under a microscope, you can tell its age to within a day.
What, and then you go, oh, it's his birthday, I'll get him a present.
Oh, cod used to be so plentiful. Alexandre Dumas, who wrote an encyclopedia of gastronomy, said you could walk from France to America on cod. They were so you could see them when you sailed. They
Well,
were just-
that ended in disaster.
Yes,
of course.
it did.
The deaths of many young people.
Yes.
Essentially, the cod wouldn't cooperate.
Yeah.
You know, it was theoretically possible, but the organisational challenge was too great. And they're slippy, even if they will lie nicely on the surface.
It's true. It's not going to happen.
Back to boats, you know.
No, but it'd be brilliant, though. It'd be like, you could just, like, run and then slide on them for a bit and then get up and run. It'd be the best journey to America
like
ever.
wheelie trainers.
Oh, yes. Anyway, that's how you age them. Just by counting the rings in its ears. Now, who has the biggest ears in the world, and what are they for?
grandma, and I would say, all the better to hear you with.
Oh, 2 elephants are being played. And you are right. So simple. Elephants have the biggest ears. But what's interesting about the size of those flaps is that they're nothing to do with hearing. But do you know what there is are for? Why are they that big? Yes. Cooling. Yes, they cool them. They're huge blood vessels. You see how veiny they are. And they flap them, and they can reduce the temperature of their blood by up to 10 degrees Fahrenheit. And then send it around the rest of their body and keep doing it. So it's a wonderful air conditioning system. Also, they're for aggressive displays.
Not that aggressive, is it, waggling your ears?
Well,
I mean, it's not right up there. They've got tusks if they want to get properly aggressive.
it's true. It's a first warning shot across the bows.
I think it's a bit more flirty.
Do you think? Well, there is a theory that they waft some of their scent, which they manufacture behind their ears with their flaps, so maybe you're right. Maybe it is flirty.
I think it's important, if you're thinking of going on a safari holiday, for you to get it right about whether an elephant is being aggressive or flirty. And also, you want to think, even if it is being flirty, is that the kind of relationship you want to get into?
Surely that is a lose-lose.
Yes.
Aggressive or
Also,
randy.
Yeah.
If it starts flapping its scent around, you don't want to get covered in that either.
No, you
don't want to be appealing to a randy elephant
Round the corner.
anyone coming up behind
So
you.
the more it's flapping, the colder it's getting, presumably more aggressive. I
Yes.
bet they're dynamite in the sack, those elephants.
Elephants do have big ears, though they don't use the flaps for hearing, really. Now, would a bit of rough music stop you beating your wife?
Jesus. What? That's the kind of light-hearted image we have of beating your wife.
Yeah. Sounds like a sort of leading question in a police interview, doesn't it? Would some music stop you beating your wife? Oh, it might, actually. Gotcha!
Well, it is the classic thing, isn't it? It's the old press question, is have you stopped beating your wife?
Yeah.
To which any answer naturally condemns you. But wife beating is a bad thing. We don't approve, naturally.
It's just so stupid, isn't it? Beating your wife. I mean, it's your wife. It's like keying your own car. If you don't...
Society just got a tiny bit worse.
I like to think I can help.
Have you heard the phrase rough music?
No.
In the countryside, if a man was accused of beating his wife, they would be condemned by the village to rough music, in which they would come round to his house at midnight and they would bang on buckets and kettles, metal things, make a terrible row. Or they'd parade indeed through the street, again making this noise, humiliating them in such a way that they would presumably often be run out of town, in fact. 100 years ago, this was still being done in the countryside. They called it riding the stang in Scotland. There are a number of things. Philandering, wife-beating, or indeed allowing yourself to be henpecked was considered a punishable offence for men.
But that looks brilliant. He sat on a chair, everyone's carrying around, hitting things. It's like a carnival.
I don't think it's him.
No.
You didn't... Oh, I thought that was the fella that beat
That's
his
one
wife.
of the people he's beating a saucepan.
Yeah,
We don't know where...
That's the disabled person in the village who also wants to join in with the whole thing. They were very, very PC in the past.
Yes, they were.
Unusual disability in that he can't get his leg down.
That picture is called The Serenade of Rough Music. It's from Robert Chambers' Book of Days, published in 1865. Apparently the one there, he's the leader of the rough music, the one on the chair.
He looks in charge.
He looks very
He's,
much
after
in
all,
charge.
being carried.
He can play 2 instruments, the pan and the stick.
Well, anyway, there we are. Rough music was a traditional form of community justice meted out in the English countryside until 100 years ago. Now, what happens if an earwig gets into your ear?
The eyes
Yes.
to the right.
It gets into your brain and it stays there and you form a sort of symbiotic relationship with it. It happened to me 20 years ago and we've never been happier.
Oh, what a shame you got forfeited for that.
I would tell you what I would do.
Yeah.
If an earwig went into my ear, I would threaten it with a gun like that. And then if it didn't come out, I would shoot. I don't mess about.
Yeah.
Do they go in ears, though? Is that why they're called that?
Well, it's an interesting thing as to why they're called it. It may be because the back of their body looks like the kind of pincers people use to pierce ears with. In French, it's called a perce-oreille, a pierce ear. And lots of words for earwig in other languages are the same as the word for scissors, in fact.
Just looks useless having that at the back end.
It does rather, doesn't it?
Well, you want it up the front.
That's true.
You know, if a spider lays its eggs underneath your skin, think about how much worse it would be if it was a goose.
They all come out in the shower.
But think
Geese everywhere.
how gorgeous they are when they come out.
Yeah, fluffy little.
Yes, I'm a goose mother.
Anyway, the idea that earwigs crawl into people's ears and lay eggs or bore into their brain is a complete myth, but a very widespread one. Now pin back your lug holes for another dose of the half-baked hearsay we call general ignorance. Fingers on buzzers, please. Why was it hard for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle?
Eyes to the right.
This is because it was a gate, wasn't it? It was a gate.
No. Christ, if you remember, says it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God.
Of course, and these were the days before liquidizers.
Yeah.
So there was no chance of pureeing up the thing and getting a straw. And I mean, it would be a mess, but it would be doable, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because remember, this is a rich man we're talking about. He would have people to
He'd
do
have
this
all
for
the
him.
white goods.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he, you know? If there's anything.
Obviously, what happened is a lot of rich men read the Bible and thought, that can't be right, surely. So there are two get-out clauses. One was this idea that there was an eye of the needle gate
Wasn't
in
it?
Jerusalem city walls, but there is absolutely no contemporary historical or archaeological evidence.
Well, actually, in biblical times, women's hands were significantly bigger than they are today. So a needle's eye could be 40 or 50 foot across. Enormous.
You still want that rich man to get through, don't you?
Well, the thing is, what someone told me, I might say, at my bloody school, which is still going, and it turns out it's talking bullshit.
I bet it was a private school.
Private school
where they don't like to get on the wrong side of rich people.
There are two sorts of gate to get into cities in those days. One that was quite wide, one that was quite narrow, and a fully laden camel couldn't squeeze through quite a narrow gate, and those were called eyes of needles. And what Jesus wasn't doing was being sort of sarky and going, yeah, it's about as easy for a rich man to get into heaven as to get a planet into a shoe. He was actually saying that if the camel was no longer fully laden, hence the wealth had been, dumped somewhere, then the camel went in easy as
I
you
don't know
like.
how rich you are if all your stuff is on the back of one camel.
But it depends if it's diamonds.
Yeah, damn
really
rich.
rich. They hadn't found all the South African diamond mines then, so diamonds worth even more.
Yeah, good point.
The coronation of George IV, all the diamonds in the crown jewels were hired. The King of England wasn't rich enough to own enough diamonds for one poxy coronation. That's how expensive diamonds
Can you
were.
hire
Now
diamonds?
any sort of rap star's got
Of course
loads.
you can. At the Oscars, all the actors hire diamonds.
That would be the Everest of unsure engagements, wouldn't it? I've just rented this for a week. Let's see how things go. Let's wait till after you put
But
it
no,
out.
you're absolutely right, David. That is precisely what...
Jesus was being
Jesus
sarcastic.
meant exactly what he said.
Should have just said,
Yeah.
you can't. If you're rich, you're going to hell.
Yeah. It was an existing phrase. There was actually putting an elephant through the eye of a needle existed as a phrase, which is in the Torah, the Jewish book, and it appears in the Quran as well, putting a camel through the eye of a needle, and it means that. So there was an alternative idea that camelos was a misreading of the Greek for rope, that it was easier to put a rope through,
I quite like the idea they downgraded it.
Passing rope through needle, that's rather good.
Well, it started with elephant. It's like, it's very difficult to get an elephant through. Technically, easier to get a camel through.
Camel would be, if
And
you
then
go
they downgrade it to a kitten. That shouldn't be too difficult.
Kitten would be heartbreaking, though, wouldn't it? Heartbreaking, Phil.
You start with his first little claw and you're going, I don't think this is going to happen.
Not going to work.
If you cut their whiskers off, you can get their head stuck in a milk bottle, I know that.
From experience?
And they will try it if you put something at the bottom like a bit of tuna.
Well, then you end up, and then they do actually manage it, and you end up with a lovely bottled cat to take to a party. I couldn't decide red or white, so I brought the cat.
What about a cat in a balloon?
Cat in a balloon?
Yeah, you just opened it up.
You've got to think. One word. What about the claws?
We'll have to pass.
The claws. Now, the bottle was a workable idea. The balloon, that's just silly.
So, most likely, the text means exactly what it says. At any rate, there's no evidence for a gateway called the Eye of the Needle. Now, how many eyes does a four-eyed fish have?
2, 1, 4, 8. How many points?
I can tell you.
The trouble is, you did say 1, but you said first 2, which is right.
Which is right. So I'll get the points back.
You should get the points back, definitely. Yeah, it's 2 eyes. In fact, they're called the four-eyed fish in many places. They come
wear
from
glasses.
Have you heard of them? No, it's called the anableps. There it is.
That's not hot.
It's not
Anableps, named by a scientist with a stutter.
Yeah, anableps means looking up in Greek, and that's the clue. It has 2 eyes, but they're divided into 2, each of them. The fish arrange themselves precisely at the surface of the water, so the top halves of their eyes are looking up out of it, while the bottom halves are simultaneously looking down.
So they're there in the water with the top half going, it's so dry, so very dry. They can't blink. It's a bit of a bust.
Well, you find them in Mexico and northern Spain.
Did their predators come up from behind and go, yeah? Wasn't expecting that, was he? He was not expecting that when he's looking up and he's looking down.
Very good point. Now, what are your chances of survival in a plane crash? Ooh.
I'm guessing it's going to be one of these where there are loads and loads and loads of plane crashes, but usually no one dies.
Yeah, it's more or less true.
So statistically...
Yeah.
I imagine it swings on the whistle that you get on the life jacket. I think that's probably what saves the lives. The people, and if it's that kind of plane crash that's never happened, where the plane lightly bobs onto the water, everyone gets out nicely, takes their high heels off, inflates the thing, tops it up, and then, oh, help doesn't seem to have come. I know. Oh, that's all right. Here comes the American
It does
Army
rather
now.
rely on someone
Can you
having
think
quite
of-
selective hearing.
Can you
And going, I
imagine-
didn't hear that plane go down, but...
Imagine anything more... I can't imagine anything more
what if-
pathetic
what if there's a
than a
plane
load
crash?
of air travellers
What if
bobbing
there's a
along in
plane
the water going beep, beep, beep.
What they should give is everyone gets a different note.
You get a little songbook.
Wouldn't it be tragic, though, if you were playing a little song and one of the notes didn't go off and you went, didn't make it?
Didn't make it.
Oh, dear.
I see Dave's been eaten by sharks. We're going to have to play chopsticks.
Yeah.
Let's do South Pacific. We can do the show right here.
I heard an urban legend about the brace position. Someone told me that the reason they want you to put your head between your legs is so that, to preserve the dental record.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's true.
I heard that as well. And actually, I don't know why they didn't just tell people that. You know, in the unlikely event of your death, I'm sure you'll all agree you'd like to be identified.
Leave.
Bite down hard on your own armrest.
Well, in fact, between 83 and 2000, in the US, there were 568 plane crashes, 53,487 people aboard, 51,207 survived. The main problem experienced is, oddly enough, getting seatbelts off. Well, you know, we all get bored by the hostess reminding us how this incredibly simple buckle works, but apparently, under stress, people revert to trying to undo them the way that's familiar to them in a car. So, yeah, the fact is, it is very unlikely. The reason you're made to open the window blinds when you're landing and that they turn off the cabin lights and make it dark on landing is if there's an accident, the emergency services can see in through the windows if they need to, and also so that passengers' eyes are accustomed to low light in case they need to evacuate in the dark. Now, can any of you name just one of the actors who, in over 30 adaptations of Treasure Island, played Captain Flint?
Isn't Captain Flint not in Treasure Island?
No, there is a Captain Flint. In fact, there are two Captain Flints.
No, Captain... Yes, there are two Captain... Yeah,
Yes.
it's the parrot.
The parrot is
Yeah,
Captain Flint,
so
absolutely.
Jeff the parrot,
Polly.
Sir Laurence Olivier the parrot.
Yes, Captain Flint is, of course, actually the parrot who says...
Pieces of eight.
Pieces of eight.
Pieces of eight. Why pieces of eight?
Yes, because you needed to circle the parrot there. I think we... Parrot is here.
Oh, that's where it
there
is.
he is.
Because many people have parrot blindness watching at home. It's a terrible affliction.
Why pieces of eight?
Something to do with pirates and silver.
Yes, they often divided the silver Spanish dollar into 8 pieces. And 2 of those 8s made a quarter of a dollar, which is why in America a quarter, 25 cents, is called?
A quarter.
2 bits.
2 bits.
In America they call it 2 bits, a quarter.
bits.
Yeah.
So 2 pieces of 8.
It's 2 pieces. Yeah.
I like after 8s.
Do you? I wish I'd known that. I'd bring you one.
I'm just saying that because I went on a TV show once and I said I like Quorn and I got sent a box of it.
I like 12-year-old
I was pleased
whiskey.
with that, but actually I thought I wish I'd said after 8.
Apparently, the actor that originally played Long John Silver in the first film adaptation invented that pirate voice. You know the pirate voice that everyone does?
Well, Robert Newton is, but that wasn't the first adaptation. There were silent ones. I mean, as I say, there have been 30, but...
Well, the
perhaps
silent one didn't
best
have the voice.
Exactly. You said the first adaptation, that's all.
The first adaptation
Not
with
the
the
first
voice.
talkie either.
Well, stop it, you.
No,
I
it's
thought it was quite an interesting fact that he
Yeah,
invented that.
everyone knows that. It's Robert Newton's voice. I mean, there's
Did everyone know that?
Yes, of course they did. There's an international Talk Like a Pirate Day, which is dedicated to Robert Newton. If you ask people to do a pirate, they'll go, Jim, that, basically. And
Seems
that's
totally
what he
natural.
sounded like. Tony Hancock made his name when he first became well known by being a Robert Newton impersonator. Doing his and various other parts. He was a very well-known actor, Robert Newton, but nowadays people don't remember him. Anyway, most of the actors who played Captain Flint were probably called Polly or something similar because Captain Flint is the name of Long John Silver's parrot. And finally, that brings us, of course, to the scores. Oh, look, just listen to this. Last, with -11, is David Mitchell. You did well, but you did fall for a couple of them. And only just ahead by 1 with -10 is Jimmy Carr. We are now moving into the plus scores with a very creditable +3, Phill Jupitus. Ears and eyes, do my eyes deceive me? Do your ears deceive you? With +13, Alan Davis! That's it from Jimmy, David, Phil, Alan and me, and from columnist Jerry Dennis, who had this to say that is neither here nor there. I met a guy this morning with a glass eye. He didn't tell me, it just came out in the conversation.